Hi everyone. The topic is today Houston Maritime Injury Lawyer. Houston Maritime Injury Lawyer from January 2015 to February 2017. Oil and gas extraction workers injured 602 incidents. Some of these mishaps resulted in serious injuries. Of these, 481 workers were hospitalized and 766 lost limbs. This data came from the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health. If you experience an offshore accident while on the job and that accident causes an injury, you will need a maritime injury lawyer. An offshore injury lawyer is versed in maritime law, including the Jones Act, and can best defend your rights. Mario Madrid is a Houston maritime injury lawyer that can help you in your time of the need from a maritime injury. Revolutionary history of the maritime law. A maritime injury lawyer focuses on the maritime law in Jones Act cases. You can trace maritime law practice back to the Revolutionary period. Admiralty law in the United States evolved from British Admiralty courts. They functioned outside of regular courts. Admiralty courts had no trial by injury. Thus, the British used them to uphold the Relieved Stamp Act, making them catalysts in the American Revolution. Several prominent American lawyers of the American Revolution were admirably maritime lawyers. Who may have heard of two of them, John Adam and Alexander Hamilton. The Jones Act. In 1929, the Jones Act passed into federal law. It regulates sailing in the United States. The act allows workers designated as seamen to collect compensation for lost earning capacity and lost wages. It allows them to collect for disfigurement as well as past and future pain and suffering and past and future mental anguish. Also, the Act provides compensation for living expenses called maintenance. The Act labels medical expenses as cure. Definition of seaman. The Jones Act defines a seaman as a person who spends the majority of working time as a crew member or captain of a ship or a boat. The vessel in any ship or a boat in navigation. It has to be operative afloat, able to move and on navigable waters. Wrongful death. Any survivors of seamen who died in the line of duty can file a wrongful death claim under the Jones Act. They can also file under the Death on the High Seas Act. Either act enables dependent survivors of anyone who died more than 3 miles offshore to sue for their loved one's lost wages. They have the right to sue even if their loved one did not qualify as a seaman under the Jones Act. If the worker or seaman died within 3 nautical miles of the shore, another law might apply. Maritime laws. Not everyone who works on the water qualifies as a seaman. Longshoremen, pilots, passengers, and individuals who can work certain offshore oil rigs and on fixed platforms are not seamen. Other maritime laws exist to help them should they incur injuries on the job. For example, maritime laws protect pilots, longshoremen, and platform workers through other factors. Some of these are the status of the worker and where his or her injury took place. The entitlements involved also affect the potential rights of the injured worker. For those who work on fixed platforms, the Longshore and Harbour Workers' Compensation Act, Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act, and applicable state laws apply. Finding a maritime injury lawyer. If you are injured on the job, you will need a lawyer, and hiring the right lawyer for your case is essential. If you have a Jones Act, Longshore, or maritime case, your attorney must have a thorough understanding of the respective law. Different from workers' compensation. The Jones Act is not the same as workers' compensation. If your offshore injury case falls under the Jones Act, you need a maritime injury attorney and not a workers' comp lawyer. Unlike a workers' compensation, claim, the Jones Act allowed you to sue a company for negligence. It also gave up to 3 years from the date of the offshore accident to file your lawsuit. seaman, you are entitled to a range of damages. Those include lost wages, future and past, loss of earnings, loss of affection and love, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and legal fees. An experienced offshore injury lawyer can determine whether a maritime worker is a Jones Act seaman or sometimes workers other than crew members of barges, dive boats, and drill ships can be deemed seamen under certain circumstances. If you have been hurt on the water or near it, contact a maritime injury lawyer. You may have more rights than you think, and indeed more rights than your employer may be telling you. National Offshore Accident Lawyer. This is all about the Madrid law firm for Houston Maritime Attorney. In the next video, we will tell in detail about their personal injury cases and we will discuss the cases. Thank you for watching.